the ability to give yourself any item, the ability to give yourself as much money as your heart could desire. Set game flags, get a map of all loading triggers in an area. It's absolutely unbelievable how comprehensive this practice tool is. And I highly recommend that anyone who wants to
ゲームデータのダウンロードだったのかな、さっきのは。
I actually have a tutorial series on YouTube where I go over exactly not only how to speedrun this game, but also how to use and set up these practice tools on console.
このゲームは壊れています。
Feel free to shoot me a message. You might be able to just find it on YouTube as well.
さて。
If you're having trouble finding it, just feel free to shoot me a message. So one of the other things, and I'll show this as well real quick, is we can also do something called show coordinates. And that'll let us show a bunch of game data in real time as well. So I'll just briefly go over what some of this means because it will become important for some of the stuff I'm about to show you in this glitch exhibition.
デバッグルーム的なものが見えますが、さて。
Where we are in the game world. So that represents our X, Y, and Z coordinate in the game world. Okay?
まるで今までが壊れてなかったのよ。どうなんでしょうね。
The light blue, that's our speed. That's how fast we're going. So when I'm running, we're going at 9.64 units per second, I believe. And if we jump, I go to 9. And again, that's why when we were doing the speed run, we actually don't like to jump a lot. It's because we actually move just a tiny bit slower. And then that dark blue value, we won't worry about the yellow one. That one's not super important. The dark blue value is called GRV, or gravity. And so I was talking earlier in the speed run about a little bit about how the gravity works. And so normally when you're on the ground, your gravity is set to 1. And so
Gravity?
you go from 0.3 gravity until the apex of your jump where you go to
あれ何を表してんだろう。
And then when you touch ground again, you go back to 1.3.
ジャンプの高度とかを計算するってことか。飛んでる時だけ 0.3 になり、しかし普通は 1.0 だけど、うまくすると 0.3 のまま移動してたりしますね、さっき。これがさっきのこれがさっきのメガジャンプの元ネタというか、メガジャンプはこの原理を使っているということなのかな。
It interrupts that gravity getting reset, and so now my gravity is at a third of what it's normally supposed to be. And we kind of went into that a little bit during the speed run.
0.3 で地上に立っている。
With that set up, I'm going to show you a couple of glitches that aren't really used in speedruns, but are hilarious. So, thank you again all for your donations. We'll go ahead and start explaining stuff. So this one's a little bit input intensive, so I'll explain how this works a bit. And then if I shut up, that's because I am trying to repeat this as much as possible for maximum effect. So this is something called cloak dashing. So what a cloak dash is, we're essentially doing the mega jump glitch that we were doing earlier, but instead of doing the mega jump, we keep running.
むしろなんで元の動作として捕まると崖捕まりしたりすると重力が 0.3 になるんだ。そこ変える意味あるのかというのも気になるけど、いずれにせよ 0.3 になってしまった。お
So there's like a whole bunch of other tricks that I'm going to be doing.
はいはいはい。
Bunches of different button combos. So I'm a little all over the place right now, but I remember how to do this. Give me a second.
さっき見たメガジャンプですね、これ、おそらく。ふわー。
A little bit APM heavy, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit quiet here, but I want to see if I can get to the skybox. Yeah, you heard me right. Yeah, so we're already up to.
なんか加速しない。加速どこ行くねーどこ行くねーなんか連続で前幅跳びしてるように見えるからあれかなマリオ64のあれの逆バージョンかな100超えた
One or two more times real quick, and then I'll let go, and I'll show you all how fast we're going. So I'm trying to turn the camera right now, but I'm moving so fast that the camera can't get behind Tor right now. So now it's finally letting us turn, and then you can see how far back all the particle effects were because we were going so fast. And so, how far are we? That's where we started.
いや、思えば遠くまで来たものだ。
So now the funny thing is if I actually continue on over here, I don't know if I actually, yeah, I'm a little bit far away from the skybox, but if you
まさかこのままで世界の果てまで歩くこと言うのかね。
infinite floor at y equals 0, you can clip through the skybox. So it just becomes this giant ominous black void. I'm not going to do it because it's actually going to take me a couple of minutes with the distance I'm at in order to get there. So that's the first glitch I wanted to show you all.
別のデータになるのかなこれは。
Why we don't do that in the speedrun?
Unknown location って書かれてますけど。
The problem is it builds up so much
Unknown location ここか。
too far away from any loading trigger that would allow you to get to anywhere meaningful. So even though it is hype as all hell, it is not really used in speedruns at all. So this next glitch is a little bit more of a party trick, but I'm going to use it to then demonstrate another really interesting feature of this game. So what I'm going to do is essentially a similar kind of trick to the mega jump, but after I buffer the first jump and the pause, I'm going to let go of all the buttons while I go over something that can give me a ledge grab.
こんなところにライフストリームはないぞ。
But this is a little bit tricky, so we'll see how many tries it takes for me to get.
さて、さっき一瞬着替えたこの服は何なんだろうな。お、
Yeah, so now Tor is moonwalking.
どこ行くねー。
I can't move. I can't move. I can't control anything. I can pop a potion.
動けない。アンキャットム動けない。
So essentially what Tor is trying to do
このまま世界の果てまで歩くみたいですね。
over the ledge grabbable ledge at such a speed where he got close enough to try to ledge grab it, but got pushed too far away to actually be able to grab it. So he's infinitely trying to walk back over to the ledge that he was trying to grab, and there is no ledge for him to grab.
手離してますね、コントローラーから。だから、一切操作してない。
So the reason that I show you this is to so part of this is to demonstrate that you can essentially continue this infinitely. And so something I did with this is I set up this glitch, and then I turned off my monitor, left my console on, and went to bed. And so, when I did that, I made a save file. Because once I turned my screen on the next morning, something very horrifying appeared on my screen. Allow me to demonstrate.
ロードした瞬間に SPJ の値が関数、主人公くんどうなっちゃったんですか？
You turn into a sleep paralysis demon. So if you turn the camera, more wild stuff happens. So what is essentially happening here is an example of something in like computer programming called floating point rounding.
見せられないよ。
Decimals, so any non-whole number in a game's code.
秒がそのものが壊れている。あと、何気に X 座標とか Z 座標がすごいことになってる。
But when those types of data values get really, really big, there's a bit of rounding error that accumulates just based on the way that it's set up.
あれかな。マインクラフトのファーランドみたいになんか原点から離れすぎるといろいろおかしくなるっていうあれかな。要は本当に世界の果てまで歩くとこうなるってやつですかね。そう、不動小数点オーバーフロー。マインクラフトで聞いたことがあります。マインクラフトだと1250万ブロックとか、そんくらい離れると起きるらしいですけど。
Next one I'm going to show you is sort of a two-in-one combo here. The first glitch. So this is not something that is used in any percent, but is used in a couple of different categories, such as no cloak, which is
やる人はいるんですね。なんか世界の果てを超えるゲームだったらみんなこういうことやるのかな。
So essentially, this save file is set up in such a way where I'm playing as Tor. And I cannot switch to Roberta because she is knocked out.
さてちゃんとしたマップに来たけど。
So if you have a potion of revival equipped and you press the triangle button, it'll revive the other character that's knocked out. So what I can do is press the select button, and then in the period of time where the game lags trying to pull up the select menu, I can press triangle, and so you hear that sound start to play, the screen goes completely to white. And so the game is trying to revive Roberta right now, but it's been interrupted by this dialogue screen. So now what I can do is, because it's trying to do that revival process, if I load in a completely different save file, what it's going to end up doing is sort of merging like the states of the two files together in interesting ways. And so the effects of this will depend on the characters that set up the glitch and the characters that activated the save file. So in this instance, I revived Roberta into a save that was created by just Tor. And so what that
さっき比較的平和だったこの子。
teleport Roberta into Act 1, which is normally not possible. Roberta is never able to get here until Act 3 at the earliest. And so that's one of the side effects of the glitch. Now, in certain speedruns, what you can do is if you revive the same character as the one that made the save, it will take the XYZ coordinates of your character in your previous save and apply them to the new one. So that's a way that you can actually use to get out of bounds in speedruns where you're not allowed to use the magical potato sack, because you can just teleport right out of bounds with that glitch. So you might be wondering why I did kind of the party trick version where I just become Roberta in Act 1, which is, you know, it's cool, especially if you grew up with this game. But that's, you know, that's not the complete reason why I have this set up. Roberta is not supposed to be in Act 1. This is not intended behavior. And so this Act 1 file is set up in such a way where we still haven't seen the intro to Meridell Village cutscene with the thieves. And so if I bring Roberta into this cutscene and watch through it, something very funny will happen at the end of the cutscene. So we're going to have to wait to sit through the cutscene here for a moment. So I'll let you all shiver in anticipation. Hope you all are having a great night. And again, thank you all for being here so much. I super appreciate it. Don't know you, me, that's not fair. So yeah, Roberta's walking animation here just does not look right, because this was not the correct.
今何かをしたのかな？したけど。
Sorry, I was just making fun of the thief's voice. So we don't actually need to chase the thieves down, because now that we've seen the cutscene, we have successfully set up the glitch. So after doing all that setup, what has that achieved? It turns Roberta into an alarm clock.
今してはいけない音がしたぞ。
So because there's specific audio that's supposed to play for Tor during that cutscene, there's not a specific voice quip that's associated for Roberta there.
なんでしょうねこの音。
Gets replaced with an alarm clock sound.
そういうこと？
So all of that set up just for a complete joke. Yeah, so that is, on top of that, if I like jump and grab the ledge, it also starts like this weird woodpecker sound, and it sounds like the engine is running, and weirdly enough, the volume of it is
ではいけない音がしている。
It's why? Like, why is this a thing? That's all I have to say is just why, you know? Okay. Oh, I didn't know it goes into the load screen too. That's really funny. Anyway, so I've got one more thing to show you off, but show off for you folks tonight. But this is by far the hardest thing I'm going to show you in this glitch exhibition. As Monster was saying in that donation earlier, I literally learned this 2 nights ago. In order to have it ready, essentially replaced like another kind of 2 like party trick glitches with something a little more ridiculous here. All right. So this save file, let me break this down here. This save file is set up in a very specific way. We are in, I don't know what act, it doesn't matter. So this is Gort the Merchant. Earlier in this save file, I bought several things from him so that the next time I talk to him, he tries to sell me a specific map. We need that specific text box to appear. On top of that, I've also completed a mini game in Meridell Village. It's essentially darts, like you know, click your cursor on the spinning wheel type of thing, like a Neopets mini game on the website essentially, but in game. And so I have completed that so that another NPC in Meridell will have a line of dialogue that now shows up. Both of those 2 pieces of information are very important. Okay, so what I'm going to attempt to do is a form of text storage where I can run around with Tor while there is a text box on screen. And the inputs for this are pretty tricky. So this is probably going to take me a couple of tries. But we'll see how many times. We'll see if I can get this quickly enough here. Not quite.
Hi.
So what I'm trying to do is talk to Gord as I'm mid-air, which will cause me to
今さっきのメガジャンプっぽい動きをしながら話しかけたのかな？
Not quite. Almost. Yeah, so he's also going to walk around too, so this can be a little bit annoying sometimes. Got it. Okay.
あ、出たな。出たな、テキストストレージ。だいたいこういう状態でイベント起こんないですかね。なんか、イベントとかでテキストウィンドウみたいなものを開いたまま、あるいはメニューウィンドウを開いたまま移動することで、イベント判定踏んでも何も起きなくなるというあれ。
Because of that, Gord and all of his associated text and stuff is going to completely unload from the game because we're not supposed to need it anymore. And then that's going, is it right here? No, yeah, okay, this is going to start happening.
なんかコマンドが入力され始めましたがこれは何コマンドなの
So it's just filling up the text window with a bunch of junk data. And it's actually writing that into the area of memory where the last seen text box was stored.
そっか。マーチャンダイズ、商人だからウーバーカジュアだ。今の謎のコマンド入力は何だったんでしょう。そもそも入力したのかあれは。
And so now what we're going to do is we are going to run all the way back to Meridell Village and go talk to, do the same glitch but on a different NPC, and that one is a much harder setup. So, Conception, I don't know if we got any more messages, but while we're making our way to Meridell here, if you got anything to read, now's a good time.
Oh, I sure do. We had a $3 donation come in from Tempest Mask 1000. Who said, I have come from the depths of Splatoon 3 to give $3 and support a friend, Jaxler, as he speedruns a game I never realized existed. I did have a single Neopet who I still think is in my house. I don't remember his name, but I'll find out one day. He was a green crocodile-like pal. That said, thanks for reminding me of some nostalgia jacks, and best of luck with the run. Also, Bergie.
Bergie! So-called free thinkers when they hear the word Bergie. All right, well, thank you for that. Thank you for the donation as well. I really appreciate it. We're going to be coming into town now. So there's this little girl in town that has like a random chance.
ということで走っていますが、おそらくこのなんか長いロードが挟まっているところって本来なんかイベントがあるのかな
Get her to say the line of text that we need in order to set up the next text box that we need to perform the glitch on. So I'm going to run back and forth here until we get the correct NPC to spawn in. So this might take a little bit here. There she is. Okay. So she's the redhead right here in front. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to Graham here while jumping, which is going to reset my gravity. Let's see how quickly I can get this. Okay, so I got the glitch, but it is a 1 in 3 chance of getting the right line of dialogue that you need. So I will eventually get it.
なんでもなんだろうなんか速度おっと出たな
So the problem with Ella there is Ella is so short that you have a very small window to actually press square there to open the dialog box.
こうしてテキストを補給してこの状態を継続していろいろスキップしていくみたいな会話でも重力が 0.3 になってる
Because like I mentioned when we were doing money duping earlier, text boxes don't just have to have characters and text. They can also have instructions, like, you know, running a bit of code or giving me 500 Neo points. So what we're essentially doing is arbitrary code execution, where what we're doing is what we're writing to the end of a text box is essentially a text macro that was left over by the game's developers as a debugging feature. So if I go into this load zone, text is going to freak out again, and then when the text box completes, wait for it, boom. So we did the glitch successfully, so a lot of things have just changed about the game.
何も見なかった何も見なかった
I have this piece of armor, and the sky turns dark. On top of that, if we go into my inventory, I have a bunch of new items for some reason. So I have a couple of each potion, I have some healing items now, some ergy fruit, and a couple other things about the game state are different now. Essentially, the game thinks we are in Act 2 right now, which if you have played this game before, makes zero sense, because Act 2 is a really short act where you play as Roberta in Fairyland. But we are currently in the overworld as Tor. So this is actually like a complete like gameplay softlock. Like there is no way to continue from here.
今更ですが、普通に棒立ちしているときに尻尾を左右に振ってるのは結構可愛いな。
So like for example, I'm not going to show it here because it'll take a little bit of time to reload the map. But if I were to leave this area and come back, this bridge would be fixed. Even though we've done none of the main quests to do that at all.
そうですね。
We also have
まともに、普段この移動だから、まともに全身を見れない。まともにちゃんとした立ち位置というか、ちゃんとした立ち絵を見れないというね。今のでアイテム召喚した。こう。
We basically rewrote it back into existence. So, if we go, like, for example, I know it's kind of like weird to wrap your head around, but like for example, because we're in Act 2, there's going to be a massive shadowy fog wall here that like is normally not here. So see, that wasn't here before, and it's here now because we've tricked the game into thinking we're in Act 2. And if I were to go ahead and make a save, I'll actually just show this as an example. If I were to go ahead and make a save right here and load it, it would show the Act 2 icon. Wrong thing. Hold on. Wait for it. Memory cards are slow. Yep, see, we're in Act 2.
そうですね。EST 超えてますが、あ、終わるかな。
No sense whatsoever. So yeah. So you might be wondering, well, there's arbitrary code execution in this game. Why doesn't it let you credit swap? And the reason is we don't have a setup to credit swap yet. There may be a theoretical way one day because there is some sort of macro that lets you
予定的には
every progress flag in the game.
運助スケジュールよりもほんのちょっとだけ巻いてるぐらいですね、今。なんでちょっとならオーバーできるかな。
No setup has been discovered for anything like that. So if you want to help out Monster,
違うか。
found some setup
更新されてるからか。まあまあ、はいはい。
I'll show the Discord in just a moment. But that's everything I wanted to show off for the glitch exhibition.
終わった。
I want to give a huge shout
という
out
こ
to
とで、
Monster. That whole arbitrary code execution setup is really, really challenging. And Monster
いやーなんかいろいろ見れましたね。
Twitch chat. I mentioned her name earlier. She made this practice tool.
いやー壊れた状態のテキストが出てくるゲームはなかなかないぞでも。
If you don't know, is like almost essentially machine language. On top of that, has discovered so much for this game and has been such a big part of our community. So, Monster, thank you so much for everything you've done for this game. Really appreciate you. Also, want to shout out another runner, Cole. Cole was the original runner for this game. He, along with a bunch of other old heads, found like a lot of like the really like classic stuff, like the ledge flying and the mega jumping and stuff like that. And Cole's been in the community for a long time, and I really want to thank him for everything he's done to support this community. That being said, that's all I wanted to show off. So I'll just part by saying, again, if you watch this and you're really interested in giving this game a try, some of this stuff was pretty tricky, but I believe that this is a beginner-friendly run that anyone can try and get like a run done somewhere under an hour and 10 minutes. So I have a full suite of videos on YouTube going over beginner strats for every different portion of the game, on top of how to set up the practice tools and to make effective use of them. Other than that, if you liked my runs tonight, I'm Jaxler. You can find me at Twitch on Jaxler1. I stream this game and just like a whole bunch of different obscure speedruns that no one's ever heard of before. But I don't want to take up too much.
終わるかと思ったら結構いろいろ語ってくれてるな。
Thank you all so much. Have a great night. And thank you all to everyone who's here in person. This was so awesome. Thank you so much, everybody.
グッということで、ネオペッツ・ザ・ダーケスト・ファイリーでした。では、すいません。ちょっと次、変わる際に一旦失礼いたします。
Neopets. Can you believe it? I can't really believe what I just saw. But thank you so much, Jaxler, for showcasing Neopets the Darkest Faerie as both a run and an excellent glitch exhibition as well. For those who just might be tuning in, we are, of course, Midwest Speedfest. We are here live in Minneapolis, Minnesota as a part of 2DCon, raising funds for the Children's Cancer Research Fund. If you're interested in donating, you can go to donate.midwestspeedfest.com, and we have a variety of bid wars and incentives for you to donate towards if you'd like your money to go a little extra farther. For example, we have a character choice bid war ongoing for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, how that works is there are 4 characters, Luigi, Toad, Mario, and Peach. And this is going to function as a rolling bid war, which means that whenever another character is taken over in terms of the bid war, for example, if Luigi is in the lead and then somebody donates towards Toad for